What's going on? This is my first time streaming ever on any platform. So uh bear with me. I decided to do this earlier today, just this afternoon. So bear with me. I've never I've never streamed before and I'm new to it all, but we'll get used to it and we'll adjust and we'll stream more and we'll stream more often. My name is Jermaine, and you are watching Improperly Influenced. That's right. We're here to talk shit on everybody. No, we're here particularly to talk shit on people who are improperly influenced. That's the name of the show. We're here to call it out, call a thing, right? Anyway, there is plenty to talk about tonight, so I'm not going to waste any more time. Feel free to uh, definitely subscribe on whatever platform you're watching on, uh, and comment because I think it's interesting to read comments. At any rate, um, let's go right into it. course, today's title is Black Guy Watching Fox News. Nigga watches Fox News. I thought it'd be interesting because we know Fox News is full of shit. And they never tell the truth. They like to call themselves fair and balanced, but they're not. And we're here to talk about it. So let's get right into it, folks. This is a comedy segment on Fox News. I say comedy with air quotes because I don't know how funny it truly is. It's supposed to be funny, but it's a guy called something Gutfeld, and supposed to be comedy. So let's see how funny this nigga actually is.
Happy Friday, everyone. We are the new kings of late night. Massive ratings. We destroyed everyone. Everyone, every host, every news. They're gone. It's just me.
He's just like Trump. Let's just lie about things and say they are something that they aren't. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if I Googled it, they're not number one in late night. Like, that's impossible. I know Fox News is a very popular network, but number one for a late night comedy show? Hardly.
But also you, because you guys did it because you are the greatest fans. And I've got proof. You got to check this thing out. There's a guy in the audience. Look what he made. A guy named Bart Laro.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely number one because a fan sent in some lame-ass Lego lookalike set. So, yeah, they're number one.
Yeah. Hey, you don't have to clap for Bart. You only clap for me. But he recreated his entire set using Legos. And he even got special Legos for Tyrus because, you need giant Legos for him. And Kat's a Lego, which is approximately the same weight as she is. Isn't that amazing? I don't think Don Lemon gets a Lego set. I don't even know what that means. All right, to the monologue. So Campus Reform has a new video out where they interview college women on systemic sexism. I wonder, does America oppress women?
Would you say that women are treated unfairly in the United States?
Yes, I would say so.
Yes. I've quit so many jobs because of the way I was treated at work.
Definitely. I think that there's a lot of institutional factors that play into that, especially when you think about just like unequal pay.
We already have a lower pay wage, even if we're overly qualified for the position.
There's still a lot of traditional, I guess you could say, perspectives on what a woman should do and what a woman shouldn't do.
Yeah, there are definitely some unfair treatment in some aspects.
Would you say that women are oppressed here?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's primarily, of course, there's the intersection of not just being a woman, but also being a woman of color or a poor woman or an immigrant.
Wow, I did not expect that. Like, she really went all the way. I'm not just going to answer your question, but I'm going to add to it and think about the intersectionality here of being black in a woman. I don't know where Fox News is going with this, but it is, I don't know. I mean, are women the most oppressed group in the world? I don't know. But certainly anyone who lives on this planet would say that women have and do experience, historically and today, do experience a bit of oppression. I don't know where we're going with this one. Let's keep watching.
So true. But I'm not surprised by the answers. This is the college campus where fresh brains go to die. But what happens when these women are told about actual oppressors?
Before the US troops invaded Afghanistan, the Taliban was in control, and under the Taliban, women were
Oh, shit. So he's going to go there with it, right? You can't be oppressed because somewhere women are oppressed worse than you are. I mean, I think this is particularly interesting because these are Republicans. These are the party of Christians, right-wing extremist Christians who say shit like they are oppressed and that they are, oppressed. That's wild, yo. Like this is what their party does, and now they're gonna say what?
weren't allowed to have a job. They weren't allowed to get an education. They weren't allowed to hold a position in government. They were being beaten and killed under that government. We drove them out, and since then, life for women in Afghanistan improved greatly because of U.S. presence.
So, how does that?
I want to point out this fact too. Like, honestly, if I have to admit, like I watch my old youth pastors. They now pastor a church in Charlotte, North Carolina called Freedom House. I watch their Facebook and their the shit pops up on your feed on Instagram and shit, and I look at the stuff that they post, and they post conversations that they have with people and clips and videos of why is this group claiming that they are oppressed? But if you rewind this footage, the second question that this woman asks, let's go back, because the second question that she asked is, you think you're oppressed? Well, let me introduce you to Afghani women, right? Watch this again.
They weren't allowed to hold a position in government. They were being, before the U.S. troops invaded.
So this is Fox News defining what oppression is in order to make their silly point about women in America. They define oppression. Now I'm gonna pluck out that definition and see if they would let that apply then to black folks in America who are, overwhelmingly the victims of police brutality, are shot, unarmed, maybe even unarmed and fleeing, maybe unarmed and hands held in the air, maybe unarmed and surrendering, like whatever you want to throw in there, like black people and their interaction with police fits this, it fits this. The school to prison pipeline, that could be also an example of black folks not having that equal opportunity in education. Also, the idea that schools are funded by property taxes. And we know that if you grow up in the hood and there is no property that's worthwhile, certainly it's not going to have a higher taxes on it. So your schools are going to suffer more. So you don't have the same opportunity in education. You are beaten by and victimized by police. You are even victims of, and they found this to be true, the Obama Justice Department, that police and counties were raising money on the backs of poor black folks. And I'm sure, and this is all in 2020, and I'm sure today. Oh, let me bring up this one too. All the voting laws that have been recently placed into effect because they lost the election of 2020. They know black folks go out after church and they do souls to the polls, and what they do in Georgia, they prohibited voting on Sundays to directly affect black folks and to stop or limit the amount of niggas voting. Now, I'm sure if I present this argument to him, he won't say, okay, that's oppression. We do oppress black folks in this country. If this is what they allow to be the definition of oppression, what she's about to say, I rewound it. What she's about to say, if this is the definition of oppression, then certainly everyone who watches Fox News and everyone who agrees with Tucker Carlson and all those idiots, I mean, not Tucker Carlson, whatever the fuck his name is, Gutfield. If every one of them agreeing with him and sitting on that dumbass couch, if they agree with him in this instance, then they have to then say, black folks in this country are oppressed. It's the epitome of oppression to be targeted by somebody who works for the state and killed. Come on now.
In Afghanistan, the Taliban was in control, and under the Taliban, women weren't allowed to have a job. They weren't allowed to get an education. They weren't allowed to hold a position in government. They were being beaten and killed under that government. We drove them out, and since then, life for women in Afghanistan improved greatly because of U.S. presence.
So,
does anybody know the story of Fannie Lou Hamer? Fannie Lou Hamer, strong black woman. Beaten brutally, just trying to vote, just trying to register people to vote, just trying to play a role actively in democracy, as she had the right to do and was doing so legally. Jailed and beaten, forced to black inmates were forced to beat the shit out of her. Come on, yo. And this is the history of America. And mind you, this is not history from 400 years ago. Fannie Lou Hamer was alive much more recent than that. But I'm sure they would not say that was oppression. Certainly not.
how does that change their views?
Yeah, we have it better. We do.
I think it does. I mean, compared to what's happening in Afghanistan, I do have more basic rights.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we still got it a lot better than many other women in other countries around the world.
You know, obviously in other areas it's a lot worse. Like with that situation now that I know, like obviously there's not as much as to complain about here than over there.
Do you think we have it pretty good here?
Ooh, it feels like that contradicts what I say about. But it's the truth, though. That's a good question. Because you have a very fair point. We do have it better here than we do in Afghanistan.
I love that woman.
That's not honest. That's not honest. The statement is true. I believe so. The statement is very true. If you were given the opportunity to live here or to live in Afghanistan, you would choose America almost every time. My black ass would choose America every time. Okay. Is it better to live in this country than a lot of other countries? Absolutely. That doesn't mean this country is innocent of any wrong committed towards its citizens. I'm going to say that again so it can actually sink in. Like, I don't know, how do they, this is the thing that fucks me up with these segments on Fox News, is that they're producers who sit down and produce this and write for it and research for it. And you consider all the ways that you can look at this one fucking story, and even the question that she's asking them and how she defines what oppression is, to then just say simply something so stupid as if, it's better in America, so we don't get to complain about anything done wrong here. The whole basis of democracy is that you have a say in democracy. You're allowed to present your grievance towards the government. That is how this country was founded, right? Right? Country was founded that way. Someone said no representation, no taxation without representation. They called out the queen or the king and said, you're not gonna tax us if we don't have representation in Parliament. Boston Tea Party, they destroyed property, right? How much money was that worth when they destroyed the ship with tea? That was carrying a bunch of tea. Isn't that like rioting and looting, right? The national anthem says, rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. The second verse is also pretty violent towards niggas. Talk about how you can't run or you can't hide. I mean, like it's wild that they don't. Fox News and conservatives are always they seem like they're never able to connect the irony in the statements that they make. Democracy and our Constitution and all the rights afforded to you by that Constitution allow you to bitch and moan and gripe and complain about your government, about your elected officials, about the condition that you live in. It allows you to demand more and challenge government to grow and become better and become more for the people, because it is a government by the people and for the people, right? So why is he moaning and complaining about women in a country that could be better in doing right towards women or by women? Why is he complaining that some women feel like in this country, they aren't treated as equal and that they may be oppressed and that they may have issues on a job? I don't know. I mean, I'm a bi guy. I have a lot of straight friends, and I've hung out with them prior Navy, hung out with a bunch of straight men, and the way that men treat women, just outside of a profession, a job, I've seen it done in the military, in uniform. I've seen people be inappropriate, but just the way men treat women is ridiculous. Sometimes I am embarrassed when I'm with friends and they do shit like catcall, or they just have these leering eyes and you're just staring at this woman's ass in the most obvious way, and then gonna be loud and turn to me and want me to engage in that bullshit too. And I'm just like, dude, you're embarrassing. Chill the fuck out. Women are treated better in this country than in Afghanistan. However, women in this country have every right to demand that their treatment in this country be better. They use this exiting Afghanistan and the war in Afghanistan, and they're using Afghanistan to promote their own ideas. And mind you, the Taliban is basically a terrorist organization. It is ran by right-wing extremists, religious extremists in Afghanistan. They basically are the same fucking people as the religious right-wing extremists, nut jobs on Fox News. Nobody saw the irony in this whole fucking thing. That's hilarious, yo.
Because she admitted she was wrong in real time. Somebody please send this clip to our VP Stat. That's if anyone can find her. So these students were exposed to new facts and they changed their minds. And I don't mean exposed in the way that got me kicked off campus. But we used to call this learning, and it's great to see. Fact is, not everyone on campus is dim-witted. It's just the faculty. Sadly, the students only get a very narrow worldview fed to them by these unhappy hate merchants called professors. They don't want thinkers. They want parrots. And these parrots blame everything on the crackers. The creed boils down to, this country sucks. And if you're white, you suck too. So, look, took a while. It's an... Sorry. But it's an easy script to mimic, and many do it to keep the mob away and also get a good grade. So anti-American hacks repurpose student brains for imagining everything as a power struggle, which puts their minds in a 24-hour-a-day fistfight between what they're being taught and what they're experiencing in real life. But when these students hear the other side of things, it's nice to see the effects. If we're lucky, they might escape college with an education. But this national self-loathing isn't something you find only on campus.
I think it's interesting that he says these women were presented facts, right? And came to a different conclusion. He applauded them, and he said, it's called learning. Wow. When presented with the facts on climate change, when presented with the facts on police brutality, when presented with the facts of capitalism, when presented with the facts of the election, my nigga, when presented with the facts of the riot, really, let me rephrase it, presented with the facts of the insurrection that took place on the Capitol, when presented with any facts about Donald Trump, do they ever change their mind? Do they ever? They don't. In fact, you could take their ideas that they have today and let a Democratic president like Obama, you remember healthcare, the Affordable Care Act, very Republican. Obama took that healthcare idea and made it his position, and the Republican Party rejected that. And in fact, it was Mitt Romney's plan, right? They rejected it because it came from him. They're not principles. They're not principled. They don't have any principles. They're not moral people. They just position themselves to the left or the right whenever it favors them.
Campus. It's infiltrated every nook and cranny like so much butter on Brian Stelter's morning bagel. Yeah. It's considered a requirement for our cultural conversation, except it's stupid and toxic, like drinking Windex while watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey. So you find it in movies, TV, and of course, sports. If you're someone who loves this country and you watch a Netflix movie, an NBC sitcom, and Stephen Colbert all in the same night, your spouse or the cops will find you the next morning with your head in the oven. And a suicide note that reads, I apologize for 400 years of oppression. But this America is no better and possibly worse perspective might be the easiest way to pass yourself off as a caring intellect.
Just listening to him actually makes me think of like the reality of why, or it makes me question the reality. Like, why does this country still struggle with one of the most obvious things? Like, why is it so hard to admit that this country has historically done awful fucking things. People are still affected by those awful things. And we are actively doing fucked up things to certain groups of people in certain communities. It's not rocket science, right? Everyone knows slavery happened. Everyone knows Jim Crow happened. Everyone knows redlining happened. Everybody can recall the civil rights movement. Everyone knows just last year, a police officer knelt on a fucking man's neck for 10 minutes, blocking his airway. We saw this man struggle for fucking air. And everyone knows that the left said, God, that's fucked up. And the right said, oh, we don't know what that nigga did. Like, come on. They made excuses for him. Everyone knows the truth about America. Why is it that people are okay denying it or lying about it? I think it's because organizations like Fox News, who lie about it on a regular basis and try to present those lies as if they are fact. They try to mislead people or what's the word? They try to disguise what is a lie for the truth and pass it off that way. Everybody is aware of what the fuck is going on in this country. Raise your hand if you want to be treated like a nigga. Everybody will say, hell the fuck no. So why is it that we pretend as if black people and white people are equal? Almost every institution, dare I say, every institution doesn't treat black and whites equal. You don't have equal opportunity in education. Hospitals, you're not equal. The court systems, you're not equal. Police, you're not equal. Like even voting, they don't just say, let the niggas vote. They're like, no, let's fuck it up and make it as hard as possible. Everybody knows what's up in this country, and the Fox Newses of the world are what allow people to perpetuate this idea that everyone is equal. No, it's not.
Ironically, it's inversely proportional to actual wisdom. Almost everyone who claims women are routinely paid less than men are operating on outdated statistics about income and the work women choose to do. The oil rigs and crab boats await you, ladies. The stats always get debunked. You just never hear about it. Like when famous female soccer goalie Megan.
I've read about that, and I thought it was fascinating. And I mean, just I haven't watched this clip, so I don't really know what he was gonna say, or I would have had more research. But it's interesting, like you say, the oil rigs and the crabbing boats await you, ladies, suggesting that women aren't paid the same as men because they simply don't they don't go to work in the same professions and the same fields that men do. And that would make that sounds like a very valid argument. But what about when they are in the same field and they are in the same profession? You know what I mean? Like what about when you have a woman CEO who can produce the same I guess profit for a company, because that's the only thing they're looking for, right? Profit. That's what capitalism is all about. You can produce the same profit for a company, but not get paid the same. Women CEOs don't make the same as men CEOs. Why is that? Like, I'm okay with his response even being a response to the answer to the response. I mean, to the question. But you gotta be honest and say, damn, let's think about this for a minute. Let's think about this in a deeper, more meaningful way than what the fuck he's doing.
Rapinoe claimed how women players were victims of wage discrimination. It was covered widely in the press. What wasn't covered as widely, the California federal court dismissing the claim after finding out that the women's soccer team actually makes more than men on a cumulative and per game basis. The women's national team earned $24 million. Men earned $18. If it were up to me, they'd both be making minimum wage. That sport makes curling look like the last 5 minutes of Rocky. Sorry, soccer players. Hope Solo, the former goalie.
I just have to jump in with my remarks towards capitalism. Yes, I am a lefty. Left is best. Hashtag left is best. I stole that from Sam Cedar. But yeah, like minimum wage. Why would they? So a fair way to pay people is to even if you just pay people a living wage. And I'm not talking about these suckers. I think they get paid a living wage, obviously. But like a fair way to like think about paying people is according to the wealth or the money that they produce for a company. So if you work for a company like Amazon and they pay you $15 an hour, but the money that you produce for the company is well over that, then they're making a killing at the profit. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar organization. His joke on minimum wage just wasn't funny to me.
Of the women's soccer team and my favorite Star Wars character, Kat, told an interviewer that Rapinoe badgered teammates to support her spotlight-chasing activism. Others dispute this claim, but you don't have to be a shrink to see how Rapinoe's strident act could dampen a spirit. It's like that person in the office that wears too much perfume or cologne, 5 minutes around them, and you want to puke. Imagine having someone like that at your place of work.
Dude, they're not funny. Like, they're not funny.
Hey, why are you all standing in here?
These are standing desks.
Standing for what? The patriarchy? You work with me, you take a knee. Right? Kneel down, and turn your back. Keep working.
My nigga, how the fuck do you have writers and producers for your show? It's Fox News. They got so much money, and this is what the fuck they think is funny, and their writers came up with this. Like I mean, I can think of ways to joke on the left, to joke on Democrats certainly, but damn, this is just not funny.
Hey, what the hell are you eating?
Oh, there's this great local sandwich shop downstairs.
We only eat Subway in this office. All right, you want to smash the fash? You got to throw that in the trash.
I didn't know that Subway was a thing that liberals and lefties like. I don't know why that's a thing, but I guess it is according to the writers at Fox News.
Yeah, Mom, it's my first day at work. I'm having a great time.
Who you talking to?
It's my mother.
Don't you mean birthing person?
No, actually, I'm adopted.
Adopt this.
Adopt this, oppressor. What the fuck? Like, come on. I need some better jokes than this. No fucking way. This is, I don't know how long Gutfeld has been on fucking Fox News, but this dude's gotta go. Like, it's a matter of time, right? It can't be. I'm gonna Google the ratings on this show because this shit is not funny.
Yeah, let me call you back.
Yeah. Who knew Kat had a brother? So I missed the Olympics. Actually, I missed the Olympics. But so did a lot of people. And why is that? The same reason the NBA's ratings are lower than the Taliban.
Of course, we have to pander to the Patriots, right? We got to show images of black athletes not respecting, or I won't say not respecting. Let me use it. Not behaving in the traditional manner when the American flag is flown or when the anthem is being played. She put a Black Lives Matter T-shirt over her head. Fuck that bitch. She turned her back to the flag. Fuck that bitch. Like, come on, really? I don't know. I don't know what it is about. I'm tempted to say a different word, but I'm just gonna say it like white people. It seems like it's the really self-proclaimed patriotic white people in this country that are so irritated and they become angry because someone didn't well, I won't say someone, because an athlete didn't stand for the pledge with the not the pledge, but for the anthem with his hand on his heart or hand on her heart. They become angry about that shit. Like, why, my nigga? Why? Why you mad? Why you mad? And again, they don't even put things in proper context. Why are these people doing this? Anybody gonna stop and seriously ask that question and seriously dig deep to find out maybe why the fuck these niggas don't like to stand for the fucking anthem? These are the same people who will berate black folks for their behavior during the anthem, but turn on the TV at night and watch another nigga die that was just simply running from a cop because he had warrants for child support or some dumb shit like that. Get the fuck out of here, yo. They act like they act like they don't understand or they don't get it. But every time it's them, they understand and they get it. The whole fucking time that Black Lives Matter over the summer was marching, mind you, they didn't get a whole lot of change accomplished. I mean, I'm down for the cause, I'm down for the march and shit like that. But like, you know what I'm saying? What law was enacted? Martin Luther King died or was murdered, and they burnt fucking cities down, and the goddamn president came out and signed the goddamn Civil Rights Act, right? What? I'm not saying that they shouldn't march or any of that type of shit. I'm just saying, like, all the white people that are so fucking angry with it, what change really happened? How did your life change? How were any of your freedoms affected by what Black Lives Matter did? But they went out of their way to demonize them, to call them criminals, thugs. They're out there looting, rioting, all this bullshit, right? Just to cast a bad light on the movement. They went out of their way to do that. But when it was them, they understood, right? All Donald Trump had to do was bitch about a lost election and say it was stolen from him. No evidence, zero evidence. And even if he had evidence that it was stolen from him, how do we rectify that in this democracy? We have a court system that you would go through, right? They didn't go to court. Well, they did. They lost in every case. Every time they challenged it, they lost literally every time. But they didn't go to court. They said, we're going to march up on the Capitol and we are going to kick in the doors, and we're going to kill cops, and we are going to wave the Confederate flag, and we are going to then they put up a guillotine outside of the motherfucking Capitol. Like, that was wild. And they justified all their actions. They completely understood it. But not when it's niggas. They never understand.
Tolerance for string bikinis. Give us more winners like Tamara Mensah Stock wrapped in our flag and loving the red, white, and blue. You can keep the Rapinos wrapped in endorsement deals and resentment. It's a microcosm of the current administration, who also see America as the land of hate and inequality. Biden's embrace of woke culture put the stamp of approval on the grim conviction that America is eternally guilty of systemic racism. And so, how dare we pass judgment on medieval talents like the Taliban? We're no better, right? So when you look at attitudes on campus or on the field, you can see how we ended up fronting a slapdash, embarrassing retreat. We sacrificed our moral standing, seeking new ways to punish fellow Americans for thinking for themselves. In place of individuality, we have a woke mindlessness brought to you by our nation's professors, the worst people on earth, not including the Taliban yet. Let's welcome tonight's guest.
Oh my God, yo! I don't think this is really that serious. I just I just find it to be funny that he has a segment called Period. Ain't that like a black thing though? Ain't it like a black thing aggressive? Like period. Period. Matter of fact, like period. Ain't it City Girls that got it? City Girls got that shit in a song. Period boo, period boo. That's fucking wild. And he has a segment called Period. That's some corny shit, yo.
She's got the top shelf opinions that we are too short to reach. Fox News headlines 24/7, Carly Shipkiss. He became a bank president just for free checking. Former Oklahoma State Representative T.W. Shannon. She's got a mind like a steel trap. Sharp, rusted, and filled with dead squirrels. Fox News contributor Kat Tiff. And he's like a deck of cards. He has 4 suits, and your grandmother would love to get her hands on him. Fox and Friends weekend host Will Kane. Ugh, what an ugly panel we have today. Yeah, thank God I'm a 10. So, Will, are you? What do you? My theory is that somehow,
like your boy just came out and said that the panel was ugly. Thank God I'm a 10. That's not funny, yo. I'm serious. Like that's not. Maybe he could have said it more differently, and it would have been funny. But like, I don't know. He should have cracked up. He should have joked on himself more, and that would have been funny.
how the wokeism has replaced common sense, and that kind of contributed to our mess abroad. Does that make sense, or am I stretching it?
No, it makes perfect sense. First of all, here's one of my favorite things about the Waters World, Man on the Street, or even better, campus reform, because it's on a campus. To sit in the Tyra seat, it's like a WWE match. They come out, I mean, fireworks are flaring, it's certainty, it's confidence, and they know what they believe, and one rebuttal or one question, and the match is over in 30 seconds.
That's true.
They fold and crumble like a house of cards. And you saw that in that video, and you did nail it exactly right. It is a cheat sheet. It's a shortcut to enlightenment, to always point.
Just let's point out like the obvious fact. Okay, they produced this. They went out on the campus. They interviewed probably more than the 3 or 4 people we saw. And they edited it up and they cut it up and chop it up so that it presents the message that they want to present. I'm sure there were women there that were like, yeah, women in Afghanistan are treated badly by the Taliban, and so are women treated badly in America, and so are women that are treated badly all over the fucking world. It can exist in one place and be extremely bad, and it can still exist in another place. Like you didn't. I mean, you may have confused the 3 people that we saw, but you're not confusing me. It's not even a hard question, my nigga. Like, what the fuck?
To oppression, and they've got all the cheat sheet lingo in hand. You heard them in that clip. Institutional or intersectional. If you use all the right buzzwords, you can pass yourself off as enlightened, unless somebody asks you a question.
Yeah, and then it all goes away. TW, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Nice Judd Hirsch sweater.
Well, thank you. Mr. Rogers called and he wanted it back.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know.
It's more like Judd Hirsch, though, from Taxi. Remember who used to wear that? It was Taxi, wasn't it?
Don't know.
I digress. I think that there is, like, when General Milley was at that, what was it?
Yo, like, I don't know who dude is in the chat, but you are particularly stupid. I didn't compare the Taliban to the U.S. This segment that I'm watching on Fox News, you fucking idiot, compares the Taliban to the U.S. And you say, laughing my fucking ass off, you call me totally lost. Maybe if you watch more Gutfield, you can get educated. Maybe. I am watching him. and he made the comparison. Like, are you a fucking idiot? Let's go back to the very beginning. Where are we at now? Because I'm gonna come back up. I just gotta say something to the dumb fuck in the chat. This is 11:50. Let's go back to when this fucking segment started, and I hope you stick around so you can see it. So you've proven the point of how dumb Gutfeld is, and how stupid people who seriously watch Fox News are. Thank you for making my point, you fucking cunt. Watch it.
To the monologue. So Campus Reform has a new video out where they interview college women on systemic sexism. I wonder, does America oppress women?
Would you say that women are treated unfairly in the United States?
Yes, I would say so.
Yes. I've quit so many jobs.
Are women treated unfairly in the United States? That's the question, right? Let's go a little further through the interview here.
Perspectives on like what a woman should do and what a woman shouldn't do.
Yeah, there are definitely some unfair treatment in some aspects.
Would you say that women
They
are
all
oppressed
agree.
here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's primarily, of course, there's the intersection of not just being a woman, but also being a woman of color or a poor woman. Or
She even went further to include poor women.
But I'm not surprised by the answers. This is the
Black
college
women.
campus where fresh brains go to die. But what happens when these women are told about actual oppressors?
Okay, so there he goes. Gutfeld did that shit, not me. What happens when these women are told about actual oppressors or people who are actually oppressed? He did that shit. So for your dumb ass to be in the comment talking about maybe I will get more educated if I listen to Gutfeld, I'm listening to him and I didn't get more educated. I didn't compare the U.S. to the Taliban. Gutfeld did. I'm sure you're not gonna leave any more comments in the chat because you realize you're done and you're stupid.
Before the U.S. troops invaded Afghanistan, the Taliban was in control. And under the Taliban, women weren't allowed to have a job. They weren't allowed to get an education. They weren't allowed to hold a position in government. They were being beaten and killed under that government. We drove them out, and since then, life for women in Afghanistan improved greatly because of U.S. presence.
So,
that is why this is a subject matter. This is why this is the subject that we're talking about today. Is not because I have this opinion. It is because Fox News has this fucking opinion. Anyway, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but you're a loser. And I will continue to shit on Fox News. And I may bring you up and shit on you in the future.
She's got a mind like a steel trap. Sharp, rusted, and filled with dead squirrels. Fox News contributor Cat Tiff. And he's like a deck of cards. He has 4 suits, and your grandmother would love.
I mean, that fucker really bothered me though. To say like it's everything about race. I wonder what color he is. No, everything isn't about race. But I wonder if you've ever tried being black. Like if you, I mean, you can't try it because you can't try it. But if you've ever tried to like put yourself in the shoes of someone else in this country that isn't white, I literally live in a world that is run by white supremacy. We live in a country where chattel slavery was the founding of this country. Half the country was like, nah. They didn't even say, no, we don't think slavery is good. You had some abolitionists that existed, but the government only took the position that they did to for different reasons, primarily capitalism. Yeah. So I live in a world ran by white supremacy in a country that today, people walk around waving a Confederate flag. They have rallies for like white power. I live in the South, bruh. Like, nigga, please. Look at my face. It's everything about racism. No, it isn't. But when I apply for a job, I know that my black ass is applying for a job. When I get pulled over, I'm very aware that even without even getting pulled over, when they see me, I know he sees a nigga. and I know all the connotations and all the ideas that they have about niggas. Is everything about race? No. But to enjoy life in this country, you're constantly thinking about race. Because when I go out to eat, niggas are they're gonna look at me like he's a nigga. When I get pulled over, they're gonna look at me like he's a nigga. The judge is gonna say, this nigga. The teacher's gonna say, nigga, nigga, nigga. All in their head. Even black folks are conditioned to do that bullshit. It's not all about race, but if I went up to my sister Candace and just was like, yo, Candace Owens, let's chill. Let's go get a drink or something like that. I can't even kick it with niggas without thinking about how they gonna shit on niggas. The fuck out of here.
Love to get her hands on him. Fox and Friends weekend host Will Cage. Ugh, what an ugly panel we have today. Yeah, thank God I'm a 10. So, Will, are you? My theory is that somehow the wokeism has replaced common sense, and that kind of contributed to our mess abroad. Does that make sense, or am I stretching it?
No, it makes perfect sense. First of all, here's one of my favorite things about the Waters world, Man on the Street, or even better.
I don't know how much longer I can watch this shit. I've doomed myself. Fuck. I'm gonna watch this though. I'm gonna continue watching it, and I got some more videos too. But I wanted to say I cannot stand the hijacking of the word woke. Like, stay woke, niggas creeping. I don't think that, like, why is it that everything that we come up with, they try to like twist and turn? Obama did this shit, right? When they were saying defund the police, he couldn't back it. He said he didn't like the sloganeering of it all. White people don't like the way that Black Lives Matter sounds. Black Lives Matter, our lives matter. They cry about that shit like as if they don't understand what people are saying. You know what people are saying when they say Black Lives Matter. It's the same thing. This is really the same thing. Like, if I say I'm woke, now I can't say I'm woke without people associating that with something negative. That's actually pretty fucking genius if you think about it. If every time we do something, they can paint it negatively, then they fucking win, bruh. They win. I mean, that's probably why they erected so many fucking Confederate monuments in the South. Create a different narrative. And that's what they're doing when they shit on wokeness. Wokeness. What's wrong with being considerate of other people, respecting other people, treating others as if they're equal to you? Equality. Like, how the fuck is that a bad thing? But they made it bad because they say you're woke, and that's bad. Shame on you. Tisk, tisk, tisk for being fucking woke. Like, that's bullshit, yo. How do they get away with this shit? Are people missing it or something? Like, to me, it's not even a dog whistle. That's loud and clear. Let's shit on everything that they do. Black Lives Matter. Shit on it. They say woke. Shit on it. What was the other thing I mentioned? When they talk about defund the police. Shit on it. They make it look so ugly that everybody now has to reject it. You know, I mean, maybe Obama had a point. The sloganeering is bad, but if we have to make it taste good and make it palatable for white people, I mean, I don't think that's ever going to be the case because they don't ever want to really see things change.
Campus reform because it's on a campus. to sit in the tire seat, it's like a WWE match. They come out, I mean, fireworks are flaring, it's certainty, it's confidence, and they know what they believe, and one rebuttal or one question, and the match is over in 30 seconds.
That's true.
They fold and crumble like a house of cards. And you saw that in that video, and you did nail it exactly right. It is a cheat sheet. It's a shortcut to enlightenment, to always point to oppression, and they've got all the cheat sheet lingo in hand. You heard them in that clip. Institutional or intersectional. If you use all the right buzzwords, you can pass yourself off as enlightened, unless somebody asks you a question.
Yeah, and then it all goes away. TW, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Nice Judd Hirsch sweater.
Well, thank you. Mr. Rogers called and he wanted it back. So,
yeah.
you know.
It's more like Judd Hirsch, though, from Taxi. Remember who used to wear that? It was Taxi, wasn't it?
Don't know.
I just got to know, I don't pay attention to the chat that often, but I look down here again, and there's somebody that says, CNN tried to report with a straight face that rioters were mostly peaceful as they were setting fires and causing chaos live on air in front of their faces. You know, I don't know if you missed, I don't know how long you were around to hear what I was talking about, but historically, this country is a violent country. Its origins began in violence, and then we wrote it in our national anthem: rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. That sounds like violence to me, right? And when white people did it, it's fine. But when black people do it, oh no, let's shit on it. We don't understand what these niggas out here doing. That's pretty fascinating that I don't know, like bombs bursting in the air, rockets, red glare. They literally destroyed property, and then they fought the government. They had a reason to. I understand why they did what they did. I don't know what it would take for people to make the connection to say maybe, just maybe, people rioting in the street. I mean, I'm not even getting to the argument whether they were peaceful protesters or looters or whatever, because poor people given the opportunity are going to loot. I'm not concerned about capitalism. I'm not concerned about a fucking Target. But like, are you a shallow person, or do you think deep enough to say, I wonder why people are doing all this, and try to understand? I can understand people that I don't agree with, but at least I understand them. Like you don't even seek to do that. It's just like shit on CNN and shit on MSNBC and shit on you liberals. I think that's bizarre. It is one of the, it's silly. It's immature, and it's silly.
Digress. I think that there is, like, when General Milley was at that what was it, a hearing, and he said he wanted to get at the root of white rage, you kind of realized that maybe winning wars and keeping America safe was not really the priority.
No kid. Well, first of all, my name's TW, and my personal pronoun is cracker. That's the first thing I want to get out before we get started. But no, really, you know, this idea that the President of the United States would stand and tell people himself that the greatest threat to America is white supremacy. I mean, it almost is shocking, but absolutely, after you think about it, it's really not shocking, right? Because they have continued to press this lie that, you know, every single minority in this country is somehow oppressed by America. This is not the home of systemic racism. This is the home of systemic opportunity. And I think more people, yeah. And here's my answer. You know, we're going to tie all this into immigration.
I'm telling you right now, if you ever want a bunch of applause, go to find the whitest room, the whitest group, the whitest organization, and just say awful things about black people, and they will applaud you, and then say anything good about America, and they will applaud you. I don't know if you remember this bit, this little segment on Family Guy. I think Lois was running for public office, and she just stood in front of a crowd of people and said 9/11, and the crowd goes wild. I feel like if you and to be honest with you, that's how a lot of people make a lot of money. For real, they be out here capping for whiteness. Candace Owens, she has made a living capping for whiteness. And she knows she fucking lying. She knows she's lying. You want an applause. You want a job. If you want to make it for real easy money, start grifting. Start grifting and say anything bad about black folks, and they just gonna love it. They'll eat it up. You'll be on Fox News in the morning.
At some point, I would say I've got a real foolproof plan for fixing immigration. You take, Obama, you take Michelle, you take Oprah, you take all of them, and you take them to the southern border, and you let them explain of how awful a place this is, so that people will stop wanting to come. Because the reality is, if it was as bad as they say it is, you wouldn't have people clinging to airplanes trying to get here.
Yeah, it is true. It's like the people are basically supporting America with their feet by running in one direction toward it. If we were so awful, Carly, they'd be running away.
Yeah, and I've been reading a lot of the individual stories of what women are going through right now in Afghanistan. The beatings in the streets are already happening. Women are throwing their babies over fences. And, it's hard not to put yourself in their shoes and think, why not me? Why am I so lucky to have this life? And by the grace of God, we win the lottery just by being Americans. And it's not just Afghanistan, it's North Korea, it's Cuba, which is unfortunately out of the news. And
that's a funny thing that she points that out. I think anybody in America, black, white, poor, rich, can say that we are better off in a better position than a lot of other people all over the world. That goes without saying, right? I mean, I'll say that, but I can also say that this country is not perfect, and it's okay to say both of those things at the same damn time.
The kids in that video, they've been taught to feel oppressed, and it's cool to be the victim. And some of them will grow out of it, some of them won't. But the one woman that I do want to talk about, American woman, is our vice president. And, young women of color all over the world were supposed to look up to her. And I can't stop thinking about what the young women of color in Afghanistan would be thinking right now if they knew that she could say something for them, speak up for them, and she is choosing not to.
I think it's interesting, very interesting, that she points out that Kamala Harris, the black bitch, could be saying something and speaking up for these women, but she doesn't look at the actions of the administration as looking out for them. Also, I don't know how long we were supposed to stay in Afghanistan. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, real shit. I served in the Navy, and I did 16 months, maybe longer, in Afghanistan, boots on ground in Afghanistan. I spent time, most of my time in Kandahar, Kandahar Airfield. That was my central base, but I spent most of my time at every FOB and COB around there. Jump on a helicopter and be at I don't know, Ramrod or a number of different. I'm not even gonna list them. I've been all over different provinces in Afghanistan. I can tell you right now, the number one thing that I noticed as soon as I landed in Kuwait was, God damn, this is a whole lot of fucking money that we're spending out here. There's no confusion. There's no fucking confusion. You see from every operation, from transportation to water to food. My job, I'm in the Navy, a logistics specialist. So I work in supply. As a matter of fact, I spent time in Kuwait because they had a backlog of supplies coming from Iraq that we wanted to reutilize and reuse, but because of the fucked up supply system, we ended up throwing a lot of that shit away. We would open up literally brand new shit out of the plastic, brand new shit, brand new pieces of gear, equipment, tools, I mean, you name it, and we would throw it into a bin to be disposed of. We would throw it into a different bin to be destroyed first, demilitarized, and then disposed of, and sell it for pennies. Sell it as pennies on a pound, as scrap metal. That's basically what I did over there. I emptied out several bases in Afghanistan, doing that. I saw endless amounts of waste. But beyond all that, you see the money. KBR, what's the other food supply company that over there? Blackwater, Boeing, shit. I mean, you name them. There's an endless list of companies that make a profit off of war. And you know, if you're going to produce a product that the military would use at any point in time, you're going to make a profit off of war. But you should also then think like, if there are billionaires making money off of war, I wonder what politician they have paid for that's going to keep voting for endless war. We were in Afghanistan for 20 years plus. I was over there. You sit in smoke. You can sit in smoke deck, and shoot the shit, just talking to people, right? And you may have a civilian that walks up to you and they're just talking, and you learn very quickly. This dude been over here for, I don't know, 10 years. I've been over here for 9 years. People would say, I bought a house. I sent this one to college. I sent this one to college. And I haven't, in my first $90,000 is tax free. Like people are over there making bank. War is profitable. That's the bottom line. And so you have to question everything after that. Where is this money? Who if war is profitable, the CEO of Boeing, how does he spend his political dollars? Who does he donate to? I can guarantee you they're buying out both parties, Republicans and Democrats. We had Bush get us into that war, right? And by the way, everybody's bitching and complaining about Biden's pulling out. We need to get out of that country. We would waste trillions more dollars. And they fail to realize that Bush got us into that war. She's saying that, you know, the Afghani women didn't have freedoms. They're not necessarily looking at you as liberators either. She's saying that I can't even say the woman's name, that the vice president should be sticking up for these women. But she's not even realizing that these women are victims of the bombs that have landed in their backyards. We know that these women are also victims of bullets that have killed their sons and their daughters. You know what I'm saying? Like it's okay to point the finger at Kamala, right? And say maybe she should be doing more. Maybe she should be speaking out. It's okay to have that fucking opinion. But when do you think, blowing up a family of 4, killing off all of their crops, really is opioid or poppy, sorry. But yeah, like doing those things don't necessarily make friends in the region either.
Too. She and President Biden came into the White House being the compassionate people. They were going to bring compassion back to the White House. There was nothing compassionate about what's going on right now.
And, you know, as a self-identified woman of color, I couldn't agree more. How dare you laugh?
Birthing person.
I'm a birthing person. Although...
Self-identified birthing person of color. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you should see what I birth in the bathroom.
Oh, Greg. Yes, Greg.
Yes, well done in your recreation of Megan Rapinoe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Wow. I love that. You guys should all come over. You guys are great. You did say she was a goalie, though. She's not.
What is she?
Well, you could tell by those pictures they were showing of her out on the field. Goalies don't do that. They're by the goal.
I cannot believe that you were criticizing my sports acumen.
Well, I can because, listen, I think she has a point. Because I've always found it empowering to say, look, I've faced sexism. I've had certain trauma in my life. I don't like to be identified by that. I'm going to work hard. But it'd be so much easier to do the other thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be true. For example, I'm a woman.
Yes.
You're a man, okay? You make more money than I do. And, that's not, we have the same height. Right?
True.
So
It's
it
true.
has to be gender. It could not be that you have decades more experience, that this is your show and I'm just the sidekick, or that you have another successful show that you're on. Could not be that.
No.
Gender. If I would say that, I would get so many retweets, I'd be cool, and I'd get sponsorships.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't be that stupid.
She claims that she can't be that stupid, but she's chosen to cap and grift in a different way by just acknowledging she's a woman, by the way. I don't know if that's hard to see, but she's a woman who says that women in this country have no reason to complain because they're equal in every way and they should shut the fuck up. Because women in Afghanistan are treated worse than you are. She's capping and grifting, but just her message is different. I wanted to say in a different way, but that makes it sound like I'm saying the other soccer player is capping or grifting, and she isn't. But this woman is definitely guilty. She's guilty of what she's accusing the soccer player of doing. By the way, this woman was a professional soccer player. She was making bank pretty much. So why would she need to risk it all by challenging government, challenging the authority? Same thing about Colin Kaepernick. Like, nigga was making money. Like, he's Gucci. Why would he want to risk it all? These people, it's like they don't think. They stop thinking, or they think enough to make their point and bend the truth around in this way, but then don't realize that people looking at that as like, no, you actually are fucked up in your position.
Yes. All right. Well, I think we.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
That fucked up shit. All right. Yeah, man. I don't know what happened. Oh, am I still on? Yeah, it's still fucking working. Cool. So I have some other clips I wanted to look at. I believe these are Fox News. Tucker Carlson is a white supremacist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, this nigga is this guy is a white supremacist. And it's insane. Fuck. Oh, here it is. I found it. Cool. Let's look at this. More Fox News. The show continues.
So the iPhone is obviously rearranging our brains and making us compliant, dumb.
It would help if I fucking put it on the screen, right? You can tell I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. because it's not on the screen so you can see it. There we go. Now, if I can hit play, it should be successful.
So the iPhone is obviously rearranging our brains and making us compliant, dumb, and destroying our attention span. But there is an upside. They have video. So a lot of parents all of a sudden know for certain what is happening in their kids' classrooms. This is actual footage of someone called Leah Kenyon, a chemistry teacher in the Alpine School District in the state of Utah. Watch.
Are you a liberal? Yeah. We'll just keep getting Delta. We'll just keep getting variants.
I haven't watched this clip either. I'm always terrified, man, because you know, like there are dumb people in every party. You know what I'm saying? There are dumb people, extreme people on the left, and there are extreme people on the right. They're dumb on the left, they're dumb on the right. This may be a dumb teacher. I don't know. I hope that she does not make me agree with Tucker. Please don't make me agree with Tucker.
Over and over and over until people get vaccinated. I hate Donald Trump. I'm going to say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. Turn off the Fox News. Do your parents listen to Fox News? So what? This is my classroom, and if you guys are going to put me at risk, you're going to hear about it because I have to be here. Most of y'all parents are dumber than you. I'm going to say that out loud. My parents are freaking dumb. Okay? Oh, I could go off on it the whole entire class period if you want me to. But I'm not going, so you're taking chemistry. You need to do chemistry. If you don't believe in...
Wow, yo, like this is a pretty bold teacher. Because what she's saying is kind of true. I would use some tact when I address students in my class. I mean, either she doesn't give a fuck about her job and this is her like snapping, or maybe she doesn't think that maybe she has conversations in debates like this all the time with her students, because you can't possibly come out of this situation and think I did everything fine there and I'm not going to lose my job. That would be like the first thought is I'm fucking fired, bruh.
Climate change. Get the hell out.
Well, she seems like a happy, well-balanced person. I wonder what her personal life is like. Can you even imagine what's she doing in a classroom? There's so many. There's now one less. Leah Kenyon is apparently no longer employed by the school district in Utah.
I knew it. She got fired. Now, I looked up a story just because, you know, Tucker Carlson is going to pretend as if this is just something that lefties do. She didn't say anything that wasn't actual. She's a school teacher who has to teach in the classroom, and they've opened up schools and have students attending physically the school again. So I would be concerned about students. This has got to be a high school. They said chemistry, right? It's got to be a high school teacher. So her students, and chemistry is what? What grade are you in? You're like a junior or a senior? I can't remember. But yeah. Like that's wild that she made these statements. But I'm there with her. Like, my students should wear a fucking mask in school. I'm in here teaching you. I'm going to let you know, keep your mask on. She's right. Global warming is something to be concerned about. She's right. Donald Trump sucks. She's right. Fox News is stupid. That's so funny that he played that on Fox News when she said stop watching Fox News. It is a true statement. I watch Fox News to hear both sides of things. Well, to hear the other side. Because on Fox News, you're not going to hear both sides. You're just going to hear their side. But what a dumb fucking teacher to sit here and criticize her students and her students' parents. I mean, did you think this was going to go over well? That's fucking... She couldn't have given a shit about her job. No way.
Jesse Waters is the author of the great book, How I Saved the World, which he did. He joins us to assess. Now, Jesse, you grew up in a school environment, right? Are teachers worse than they were, or are we just able to record it?
I'm mostly upset with her syntax, Tucker. I mean,
Yes,
I don't
I am
expect
too.
her to speak like Piers Morgan, but she sounds like she just got pulled over during an episode of Cops. Y'all,
She does.
you know, frickin'
With a shirtless man next to her.
Yeah, he sucks. I mean, my goodness. But
Wow. I'm telling you, bro, like if people that watch Fox News, right? They're really old. They have an older audience. They also have a whiter audience. They also have a Southern audience. Southern. I don't even. I can't speak, so don't judge me. Like he's judging people. Like he doesn't think that anybody watching this show says y'all. Sounds like something a Trump supporter would say, a Fox News viewer would say. Y'all watching Fox News with me tonight, right? Y'all got that Fox News playing tonight. I mean, shit. I'm a nerd that looks at stupid shit on TikTok. I see white people all the time say y'all. What? Fucking Tucker Carlson is a wealthy white man who is the heir to what is it? Swans? The frozen food shit? I mean, he's worth millions of dollars. And he's a talking head on Fox News. Both of them have been made millionaires by billionaires. Billionaires made them millionaires, right? So that they come on TV every night and spin set up a particular agenda, spread that message, right? To an audience that says y'all and sucks. What the fuck are they thinking about, yo?
So, Tucker, you know when you sing in the shower or you dance in the dark, you're at your freest, you're at your truest self because you don't think anybody is watching. And this is this woman. And this is many teachers, hundreds, if not thousands of teachers believe no one's watching. So they dominate this space. These kids are of a very tender age, and the teachers are kings, they're queens. There's no transparency, there's no accountability, and you can tell by the way she saunters around and slings the propaganda that she's been doing this her entire career. And the only reason she got checked was because there was a camera. But I got to tell you, she's not going to get fired. You can't fire teachers. It's almost impossible. The unions will swoop in. They'll file a suit. She'll collect her paycheck or pension. You can go into a classroom drunk, kiss a student, slap a kid. They'll send you to a rubber room at the...
This just shows you how much this dude was not even paying attention to Tucker Carlson. The dude, Tucker just said the teacher was fired. She's no longer with them. You can't go into a classroom, definitely if you are a right-wing, a lefty, and have any sort of ideas about equality or paying attention to global warming or say things like Trump sucks, you're going to get fired. The system is not designed to entertain your fucking position. It just isn't. You're going to get fired. And she was fired. Now let me see if I can find the damn... I looked it up on my phone. She loses her job, and by the way, I thought that this was not This was not cancel culture, right? These are the people who don't believe in canceling people. Mr. Potato Head was Aunt Jemima was canceled. But here they go, firing a teacher for I probably would have fired her too. It just that's a very people are thinking about lawsuits now. She's a risk, a liability to the school system. She probably had to go. Honestly, I probably would have did the same thing. She should have used more tact when criticizing or challenging her kids. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to challenge your kids. I don't know. We're not Republicans. Like, just because you have an idea doesn't mean your idea is correct. It's okay to be challenged. It makes you think. It's good for you. You want your student to go to school and just regurgitate information? It's not a math class, you know what I'm saying? And they're not even talking about a subject that is related to school. So yeah, these opinions that people hold about policy and about the environment can be questioned. Duh.
Very most.
You know what you can do is do a series of hour-long specials of camera phone video of lunatic teachers, and I hope that kids across this country will record every second of every class and send us the highlights. Because parents you've got kids, you don't have a right to know.
I wonder if this is his position when it comes to, like, again, this is the ironic part, right? Is when it's on video, the death, the murder, the beating of a black person, do they ever say, I wonder how long this has been going on? Are we just now seeing this, or has this been going on forever? Like, Tucker doesn't apply the same thought process when it's a black man getting beat up by 8 cops who was unarmed and handcuffed, like some shit like that. Like, they never take the defense of a nigga then, right? George Floyd was a perfect example. Like, we all saw that, and people still defended the cops when he was handcuffed, begging just to breathe. And what was it, 4 or 5 cops on this one man for 10 minutes? Come on now. Does he apply that same process? Then did that wake up Tucker? And then he said, damn, yo, I just seen the wildest fucking video. And I just wonder, are black people treated like this all the time? Or is it just in this one video? Or what is it? He's a piece of shit, man.
Know what's going on in your kid's classroom? They should have they should have surveillance camera. I mean, the rest of us are being surveilled. I walk down the street, 19 cameras are watching me. But you go into a classroom with my children and somehow it's like you can't be recorded? No.
I have kids in Catholic schools, so there's no way the Catholic teachers are doing anything close to this. But could you imagine, Tucker, if this was reversed and this was a conservative teacher that was saying, screw Joe Biden, turn off CNN, if you believe in climate change, get the hell out of my classroom? That story would have knocked Afghanistan off the front pages.
Yeah. And by the way, I would have hated it. I don't think you should propagandize
it goes both ways.
Kids. It's
Stick
not the
to
Khmer
chemistry.
Rouge, man. Stop it.
Right.
Exactly. The great Jesse Waters. Great to see you tonight, as it always is.
Thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
I'm just reading some comments in the chat. Gotta cater to the red base. Oh, that's funny. CNN is different, but the same idea. Cater to a base. Sensationalizing and exaggerate. Yeah. I don't know if they exaggerate, but they definitely cater to a base. It's okay to be that way. Like Fox News and even, I mean, anybody you watch, These are people that they're going to have opinions. To present yourself as a person that doesn't have any opinion on a subject, I think is crazy. To even say both sides, and that's what I feel like CNN does. They don't take an opinion. They just say both sides. One person says this, one person says this. So we don't know what is what. Like that's bullshit too. Cancel culture, both sides use it. One states they don't what cancel culture is and use it. The other says they don't use it and then they use it. So to be clear about my position on cancel culture is that it isn't cancel culture. It is called people being held responsible for the dumb shit they do. And if you are, I don't know, a CEO of fucking Taco Bell and you get into an Uber or a Lyft drunk as fuck, beat up and cuss out the driver and that video go viral, then your public relations CEO status may change at Taco Bell. That's a true story, by the way. So yeah, it's called being held accountable for shit, not cancel culture. Dr. Seuss, for instance, the family decided to do what? They decided that times have changed. These books aren't really making any money anymore. Let's pull them from our selection. And they said, "Oh, that's cancel culture." No, the publisher decided to do that shit. The family decided to do that shit. That's called capitalism. That's what that's called. But like if you behave grossly, you're not canceled. You just have consequences. You're not allowed to be a fucking cunt forever. You know what I'm saying? People are going to hold you to account at some point in time. And that's what happens to these folks. I mean, damn, yo, damn, Gina. Damn. So yeah, like, I don't know. I just feel like people should shut the fuck up when it comes to cancel culture because it doesn't exist for real, for real. People are being held to account for the awful shit that they do and say. And they should always be held to account for the awful shit that they do and say. Cancel culture, my ass. And I mean, yeah, I don't. Nice comment though. Keep watching. I appreciate the people who have been in the comments and people who have been watching. We don't have to agree. We can even argue. I'm here for it all. I'm here all day. The next video is not a video of Fox News, but it is something I wanted to cover. Because I'm black and I'm biggity black. And yeah, I'm a cover issues here. It's something I wanted to cover. I'm gonna chop this up and put it on my YouTube page as well. You can catch me on YouTube at Improperly Influenced. I'm going to cover a subject or read an article or what the fuck. I'm going to every so often post something that is calling someone out for their thoughts and their shitty ideas as being improperly influenced. So that's kind of where I got that from. Anyway, let me transition here and bring up this new one. This story pissed me off. I was like, is this real or whatever? But police footage of officers punching and spitting at teen suspects. I read the article and looked up the video and hope that you guys why the fuck did it hope that you guys are still there and keep watching. Anyway, let's continue on.
But first tonight, we are now getting a detailed look at the violent arrests of 3 teenagers in Providence who led police on a chaotic chase through the city last month. I'm Kim Kalunian.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. Providence police released more than 40 separate body camera videos of the incident. City leaders have described the actions of some of the officers as appalling. We have team coverage tonight.
12 News reporter Molly O'Brien.
I just want to say this one thing before we even go any further. When they say they find the actions of some of the policing, some of the police to be appalling, I think that's insane, right? If you are a police officer charged with an oath, I was in the Navy, took an oath. As a police officer, you take an oath. When you are in violation of that oath, or when you're faced with either obeying that oath or looking the other way, and you choose to look the other way, you're in violation of your oath, and you should be fucked up for it too. So it isn't just 2 police officers. Were these 2 police officers turned in by the whole fucking police department? Let's keep watching.
And is standing by with reaction from the police union and community activists. But first, let's get to Target 12 investigator Steph Machado, who's here now with what the videos show.
Providence police released more than 8 hours of footage combined of the arrests of 3 teens that led 2 officers to be suspended pending a criminal investigation.
Already wrong, right? I don't even know. These were teenagers, so I'm assuming, I think I read one of them was fucking like 15. That's wild. But this police officer, right where I happen to pause it at, is holding a suspect and pounding on them. Bro, you gotta check yourself. What the fuck are you doing? You cops don't get to, they have a rough job, right? Just because you get frustrated doesn't mean you get to use your badge and your authority to take out your anger because these stupid fucking kids led you on a high-speed chase. You don't get to do that.
The hours of body camera video shows Providence police officers repeatedly punching teenage boys they are arresting in the early hours of July 9th.
And see, look at how many cops are out there. They said only 2 were put on. Only two officers' actions were found to be deplorable. The rest of these niggas are just walking around while the 2 pound on the kids. No, I would say that all of them have behaved horribly and their actions are disgusting. Now, obviously the ones throwing the punches deserve to be they're criminal. They need to go to jail. But the ones who saw this shit happen and didn't report it need to be checked.
One teen with his face bloodied. Officer Domingo Diaz, who has been suspended, spits at him as the teen is pulled up from the ground. Diaz, in another video clip, is seen.
Yo, that's disgusting. So I'm wondering what let me ask white folks. Let me ask white people. Dear white people. Dear white people. When you see a police officer hold a suspect down, beat the shit out of them, when these are 15-year-old kids who surrendered. I haven't read anything. I don't see anything yet where they were. I mean, they led them on a high-speed chase through the fucking city. They are stupid kids for fucking doing that, but they're kids. Even if they were adults, like what in your training said, yep, that's what you do. Once you beat them, spit on them. At what point are you? Is that in the training where they say, we're gonna go down to the range and we're gonna have target practice. We're gonna have some time in the classroom, and just before the end of the day, we're gonna go to the area where we all learn how to properly spit on fucking suspects. Like where is that at in the police training? I just gotta know. The fuck?
Seen repeatedly punching one of the teens before being physically pulled off of him by a sergeant. The violent arrest
See, that's what I'm talking about. The sergeant pulls him off eventually, but he was okay. He was like, just don't get carried away. We beat him up a little bit. I know all these niggas had their hands in the air. I know all these niggas were surrendering, but drag them the fuck out of the car and beat the shit out of them because they led us on a high-speed chase, because they offended us. So we're gonna fuck their faces up. That shit is particularly disgusting to me, and their kids, If they were adults, they'd be disgusting too. But come on, a 15-year-old, they did some pretty bold shit. But at one point in time, like, aren't these 15-year-olds scared? What the fuck, yo? You led cops on a high-speed chase, my nigga, and then got beat the fuck up. I'd be shitting bricks. I'm terrified of cops, to be honest with you. Especially if I did something like that. I was like, oh, we're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're gonna definitely die tonight.
It's taking place after an hours-long chase through the city. The three teenagers in a BMW convertible.
See right there. That's the. Let me go back just a little bit, because that's legit shit. That is legit shit. We should make this like we should chop it up and make this. Let me see it again. Look at that. All them niggas in the car got their hands in the air. So they hit a fire hydrant. They immediately throw their hands in the fucking air and surrender. And what the fuck did these goddamn pigs do? And I'm gonna tell you the officers' names, Diaz, and another one. They don't sound like Whitey. These are people with pigment in their fucking skins. Pigs with pigment. That's what we gonna call Officer Diaz. Pigs with pigment. The fuck, yo. See, he works in a job that, and he lives in a world, again, ran by white supremacy, and police officers are there to bolster up white supremacy and to continue this shit on. That's why it's okay when you beat the shit out of a and I don't even know what color the suspects are, but I can guarantee you that they're in what point in time in America, at what point in time in America did you ever imagine you would read a story of 3 kids leading police officers on a high-speed chase, hitting a fire hydrant, surrendering, all 3 throw their hands up in the car, but they get dragged out the car and beat up and spat on by police? In what what America do you live in where they aren't black? Of course these are fucking black kids. And it's just really more disgusting that Diaz is behaving this way when he has pigment in his skin too. Like, what the fuck? I know black. I don't know if there's any black in them, but damn, Diaz. People be out here capping for whiteness. People be out here capping for whiteness, and Diaz is definitely one of those people. Fuck Diaz. They all have their hands up, though. Look at that image. How do you get beat up then? The sergeant that was out there could have handled this differently. He could have demanded his officers, behave professionally. He could have demanded his officers handcuff these people and escort them into the back of police vehicles, take them to the police station, the juvenile where you process juveniles because they're fucking 15, process them, call their parents, and let the system take over from there. He could have been applauded by this. Dangerous high-speed chase ends with the dumb teenagers behind bars. None of them hurt. No one hurt, but all 3 apprehended and arrested. Instead, there were no citizens hurt, but these police officers made sure they beat the shit out of the fucking teenagers before they took them to jail. It's fucking sad, yo.
The The 3 teenagers in a BMW convertible accused of driving erratically and pointing a BB gun rifle at civilians and police.
Yo, for real, I'm surprised they didn't die. If you sticking a gun out on a high-speed chase, car full of people, and you're sticking guns out and aiming them at people, like, it's 2021. Like, you could have been going through the city just popping people, and they thought they could, they could say you endangered the community in that way, or maybe they would just say they felt like their lives were in danger and just execute you right there. You don't fucking play with cops, yo. I don't know who that message is for, but don't fucking play with cops.
When they finally crash into a fire hydrant on Salmon Street, police are seen on video pulling them out of the car. More than one officer throws punches.
You okay?
Yeah.
In this,
look at how black those cops are. They just beating the shit out of these niggas. What? Let me see what color this kid is.
clip, an officer interviews the driver, who says he's 15.
But bro, like, do you see the severity of this? Like, you guys are going crazy, man. The whole state was after you guys.
That's why I kept telling them, stop, put that out the window, and they don't listen. They don't listen. They don't listen.
He may be a white boy. Maybe that's why he didn't get beat up. Because they said they only beat up 2, right? That's fucking wild.
You just should have pulled over, bro. You were the driver, man.
The 3 juveniles were all charged, but have not been identified because they're underage. Shortly after the incident, police placed Diaz and Officer Mitchell Voyer on.
I mean, look at how he's just pounding on this dude. Who does this? You're a cop. They surrendered. Why are they investigating this? This investigation is over with. There's a clear image of all of them with their hands in the air, and you drag them out the car and beat the fuck out of them, and then spit in a man's face. Come on, yo. There's no investigation. There's no investigation, and I definitely ain't paying you for your time off. Go home. You're fired, and in a week's time, we're gonna get this paperwork together to prosecute your ass and arrest you. The fuck?
Unpaid suspension. Attorney General Peter Nerona is conducting a use of force investigation into the officers. Here's what Public Safety Commissioner Stephen Perry said about the incident last month.
I saw excessive use of force in some of the body cams that is both troubling and appalling.
Providence Police had initially declined our request for this video last month, but released it Wednesday at the authorization of Nerona, who says his investigation is, quote, substantially complete. He has not yet said if those 2 suspended officers will be charged or cleared. With the Target 12 investigators, I'm Steph Machado, 12 News.
Steph.
That's wild, though, for real. That should really anger people. You have to be careful, because anytime cops are allowed to behave like this and get away with it, they'll do it to anyone. You know, that's why I think it's important to point out the race of the officers. There's a lot of brown faces out there. Diaz, he's got pigment in him. If these niggas gonna do this shit to 15-year-olds who surrendered, think about what they'll do to you if you didn't surrender. Think about what they'll do to you if they felt like you didn't obey their command or some shit like that. They will fuck you up on sight, my nigga. Cops are not to be played with at all. There's more to this video. I can't imagine what else they're gonna cover, though. Like, what else is there to say? Let's see.
Thank you. And community leaders are speaking up about the violent action seen in those videos.
12 News reporter Molly O'Brien spoke with activists, advocates, and the police union president, and joins us now live in studio with their reaction. It's new tonight. Molly?
What if that was your kid in the video? Finally crashed into a fire hydrant on Salmon Street. Police are seen on video.
It's new tonight. Molly?
What if that was your kid in the video? That's the question posed by Black Lives Matter Rhode Island Political Action Committee. Leaders are hopeful those involved will be held accountable. Disturbing, difficult, and frustrating to watch. That's how Harrison Tuttle with Black Lives Matter Rhode Island PAC describes this video released by Providence Police.
The body camera video shows
actions yet again by a police department that, is flat out attacking our youth.
12 News obtained more than 8 hours of video from police Wednesday. Body camera video shows at least 2 teenagers getting punched multiple times by officers. Another shows.
Again, like, that's just wild because these teenagers surrendered. This is why they didn't want to release the body cam footage. They had to think of a narrative to corroborate their story. The article I read, which I think is on the same website that the news organization covering this footage that we're watching right now. I read an article on their website that also said they lied on the police report. They said that they didn't even mention the use of force. They said that these suspects were brought to the ground. Didn't say they yanked them and dragged them to the ground and then beat the shit out of them. Not only should they, this is another reason why I think that more people should be in trouble for this incident. Who filed the police report? Was it the sergeant on scene? Do we give him props because he finally pulled one of his guys off of these kids? Hell the fuck no. He should be the voice saying something different when they filed a police report, like, yeah, we did use force on these niggas. And he should be the one pushing to discipline these police officers. Where is he at? What they did, man, is particularly disgusting. But then he goes even further and kneels down like he's doing an image right here and spits at the dude. What the
Officers spitting toward a teen suspect.
Truly,
that's nasty. Like, that's nasty, yo. Come on.
It is appalling. I mean, I don't think that any of us can look at that video and see that a child is lifeless on the ground and being spit on and feel like that is protecting people.
Tuttle says by no means are the alleged actions of the teens acceptable. He thinks both the suspects and the officers involved should be held accountable.
These are trained professionals that are, given the trust by taxpayers in our state to be able to handle those situations in which kids don't get spit on.
As the investigation is ongoing, Providence Police Union President Michael Amundi says they will not directly comment on the actions of the officers. But in a statement to 12 News, he did say, quote, "The investigation surrounding this incident should be full and complete before judgment is passed on any of the actions taken to facilitate the arrest of these subjects. When making an arrest, especially in a highly volatile incident with violent subjects."
I think that's bullshit, though. Like, let me go back and read that again. Like, that doesn't make any sense, yo.
Especially in a highly volatile incident with violent subjects who intend to resist arrest. In a highly volatile incident, judgment is passed on any of the actions taken to.
The investigation surrounding this incident should be full and complete before judgment is passed on any of the actions taken to facilitate the arrest of these subjects. No. I can pass judgment now. These are kids. What they did was stupid and wrong, and they drove around, really terrorizing the whole fucking community in a vehicle running from the cops. They could have hit and injured and killed a number of different people. They should be grateful that this stop ended the way that it ended, as far as you just hit a fucking fire hydrant. They didn't deserve to get beat up, though. They surrendered. Police officers should apprehend them and take them into custody. At no point in time do you get to beat up people just because you're exhausted from the chase. I totally disagree with the investigation surrounding this incident should be full and complete before judgment is passed. No, fuck you. We see it on video. I wish they would stop doing that shit. There's enough video footage. I don't need to see anything the fuck else, yo. These are 15-year-old kids. beat up, and then spat on. What are we investigating, my nigga? Like, he should not spit on suspects. Who is this person to say that? Who is he? President? I mean, I don't know who's the president, but like, is he saying it's okay to spit on suspects if certain criteria is met? If they lead you on a high-speed chase, well, it's okay to pull niggas out of the car, beat them up, and spit on them. No, that never is okay. So because we know that happened, for a fact, we know that happened, right? We leave out the beat up part. Leave out the surrendering part. He spat on a suspect. He needs to go. He leaned down, began to yell at the guy, and spat on him. I don't need to see nothing else. You're fired, and we're going to charge you for spitting on someone. That's assault. That's assault. You can't spit on police. They can't spit on you. The fuck?
Facilitate the arrest of these subjects. When making an arrest, especially in a highly volatile incident with violent subjects who intend to resist arrest, it never looks good, quote, on camera.
Then he says intended to resist arrest. Did they? And we just saw all these motherfuckers had their hands up. They resisted arrest before because they were running, yes. But when the accident happened, they had their hands in the air. And if you can't wave a white flag and surrender, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
And people will be quick to judge. Tuttle says they are in the early stages of organizing a protest that will likely take place after 4 p.m. on Friday at the Providence Public Safety Complex. Reporting live in studio, I'm Molly O'Brien, 12 News.
That is off the chain.
Tens of thousands of...
And that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you for listening to the ramblings of this guy, Jermaine. You can find me on Twitter at Improperly Influenced. We can argue there. YouTube, Improperly Influenced. Actually, I think on Twitter I'm Improper Guy. But the links will be below. Instagram, Improperly Influenced. Facebook, Improperly Influenced. I'm that guy. And we will continue to call these niggas out. Anyway, till next time. I will be here probably tomorrow. See you later. Thanks for watching.